On that quiet night, the warmth of the fireplace filled the living room. My mom's ex and I spent the day organizing the house and reminiscing about old stories we had shared. Ever since my mom left, there was a silent bond between us, something that grew amid the pain. As we enjoyed our favorite meal together, laughter and memories united us, allowing the hours to pass smoothly. As the evening wore on, I noticed my mom's ex's gaze linger on me a bit longer than usual, as if he were studying me. A chill ran down my spine, but I couldn't look away. The silence grew heavier, more intimate. When the movie ended, silence enveloped the room once more. My mom's ex suggested that I stay over, and I agreed. The thought of driving back at night didn't feel right. I settled onto the couch, wrapped in a blanket he had brought me. Though the couch was comfortable, the tension in the air kept me awake. His looks, filled with unspoken meaning, lingered in my mind. I wondered what he was thinking. What had changed between us? As the night deepened, my mom's ex shifted from his chair to the sofa beside me. I felt his presence like a wave of warmth. There was a change in the air, an electricity I couldn't ignore. He was close enough that I could smell his cologne. The subtle touch of his hand near my shoulder felt familiar, yet something we had never explored. I wanted to speak, but the words wouldn't come. The silence grew thicker as the tension escalated. The house was shrouded in shadows, and the only light came from the TV, casting flickering images across the room. I was acutely aware of every movement he made, every breath he took, and every beat of my heart. Then, without warning, his hand found mine, his fingers intertwining with mine. The touch was gentle, almost a whisper, but enough to make my heart race. In the darkness, everything felt different. The connection between us had shifted. I looked at my mom's ex, and he met my gaze, his eyes revealing a mix of vulnerability and desire. I felt an urge to lean in, to understand what was happening, but fear held me back. Instead, I kept his hand clasped in mine as the minutes passed, laden with significance. The silence now carried a weight we couldn't ignore. As the night wore on, my mom's ex moved even closer. His face was mere inches from mine. The tension was palpable. He was not just leaning in. He was preparing to cross a line we had never crossed before. I could feel my heart pounding as he regarded me, as if waiting for a signal. Then, without thinking, I leaned in as well. Our lips nearly touched. In that moment, the world around us faded away. When our lips finally met, the touch was electric. It was a soft and hesitant kiss, filled with repressed emotions that erupted in a moment of vulnerability. It felt as if all fears and doubts melted away. The kiss deepened, and everything around us vanished, leaving just the two of us and the new connection we were forming. After the kiss, we remained in silence, our foreheads touching. My mom's ex looked into my eyes, and I could see the intensity there. He took a deep breath as if he were about to say something important. With a shy smile, he confessed that he had always felt something stronger between us, something he couldn't quite understand. I felt relief wash over me, because I shared the same feelings but was unsure how he would react. As morning approached, light filtered through the window and reality began to set in. What had happened that night would change everything. I knew it wouldn't be easy, but we were in this together. The conversation that lay ahead wouldn't be simple, but it was necessary. The love we had started to explore was real and had grown over the years. Looking at my mom's ex, I realized that this was just the beginning of something beautiful. Now we had to face the world and everything that came with it. As the days passed, the changes became more evident. The small gestures that had once felt ordinary now carried new meaning. A touch on the shoulder, a lingering glance. Everything was imbued with a new intimacy. We tried to maintain normalcy, but it was difficult to ignore the new reality we had created together. Part of me felt excited, but another part was terrified of what it might mean for the future. What would happen when the truth was revealed? A persistent fear loomed that this new connection could cause irreparable damage to our relationship. Conversations about the past deepened, and we began to explore our feelings more openly. That night, after a long day, we found ourselves in the living room again. The lights were low and the atmosphere was soft and inviting. My mom's ex seemed more relaxed, and for a moment, I forgot the weight of uncertainty. We simply enjoyed each other's company, sharing smiles and laughter. Yet there was an underlying tension, an expectation of what could happen next. The weekend arrived, and our new dynamic felt more natural. Laughter flowed easily, but the atmosphere remained charged with emotion. I knew it was only a matter of time before we had to confront what had changed between us. As we sat together watching a movie, I could feel the warmth of my mom's ex next to me. With each passing day, the bond between us grew stronger. Conversations that once felt superficial became profound and meaningful. My mom's ex shared memories from his youth, while I spoke of my dreams and aspirations. It felt as if we were getting to know each other all over again, but in a more intimate way. One night, as we watched a film, my mom's ex turned to me and asked, "What's going on? You seem distant." The sincerity in his voice hit me like a wave. I knew I needed to be honest, but how could I explain what I was feeling? The confusion and fear consumed me. "I just don't know how this is gonna work," I finally said, the words escaping in a whisper. "What we have is special, but what if people find out? What if it changes everything?" His expression softened, and he took my hand. "We'll face this together," he assured me. "No matter what happens, I don't want to lose you." The strength in his words calmed me, but uncertainty still lingered. He was so confident, but I couldn't shake the feeling that the world was about to shift. Whatever was happening between us deserved to be celebrated, not hidden. In the days that followed, we tried to be more open with each other, experimenting with small gestures of affection we would have avoided before. When we finally kissed again, everything fell into place. The worries and fears seemed to dissipate, replaced by the promise of a future together. Interactions with friends and family became more complicated. How could we maintain our new dynamic in secret? My heart raced every time someone mentioned my mom or asked about my love life. The tension that had built between us could not be ignored for much longer. One night, after a dinner with friends, my mom's ex and I decided it was time to address what had been lingering in the shadows. We sat together in the garden under the stars, and the gentle breeze seemed to bring with it the promise of change. "I feel like we're living a lie," my mom's ex began, his voice deep yet gentle. "We can't keep pretending that what we feel for each other isn't real." He looked at me, and I could see the vulnerability in his eyes. This conversation was necessary, but also terrifying. I nodded, feeling a weight in my chest. "I don't want this to ruin our relationship. The last thing I want is to lose you." He smiled faintly, but there was a seriousness in his gaze that couldn't be ignored. "I'll never let you go. We'll get through this together. After that conversation, there was a momentary relief, but uncertainty still hung in the air. How could we reveal the truth to our family and friends? Over time, we started to make space for honesty in small conversations, testing people's reactions around us. Some were more accepting than others, but there was an understanding that grew among us. The nights became more comfortable and our connection deepened. Every touch, every glance now held new meaning. We shared laughter and memories, but there was a new weight in our dynamic. During those moments, words became unnecessary. The silence spoke for us. Finally, we decided it was time to be completely honest with our family. When the day came, the atmosphere was tense, but there was also a feeling of anticipation. We gathered everyone in the house and, with racing hearts, shared our truth. Our hands were intertwined, a gesture of support that strengthened us. The room fell silent after our revelation. Looks of surprise and confusion spread across the faces of our family members. I could feel my heart racing, and the tension was palpable. My mom's ex and I exchanged a glance, and a reassuring smile appeared on his face, giving me the courage to continue. The first to speak was my sister. I didn't know. This is a bit shocking, but if you're happy, then I'm happy for you. Her words broke the ice, and the expressions on others began to soften. Other family members started to express their support and understanding, gradually dissipating the tension in the room. However, there was one relative who seemed less receptive. My uncle didn't look convinced and directly asked, "Are you sure this is what you want?" The question hung in the air, and all eyes turned to us, waiting for a response. My mom's ex glanced at me, and I felt a surge of determination. "Yes, we are sure," he replied firmly. "What we have is real, and we're ready to face the world together." The sincerity in his voice resonated through the room, and I looked around to see the shift in expressions. More smiles appeared, more acceptance. The validation we had longed for began to take shape. After the conversation, the atmosphere in the house changed. Conversations became easier, filled with genuine curiosity and support. Our family began to celebrate our relationship, and the gatherings that were once tense turned into joyful occasions. I looked around and saw that not only had we gained acceptance, but we had also fostered a deeper sense of love and understanding. However, one part of me still felt a pang of worry. Would everyone always be supportive? What would happen if external pressures mounted? I knew that we had to remain vigilant and united. As we continued to navigate our new reality, I felt a renewed sense of purpose. We had broken the barrier of silence, and now we could build something beautiful from it. Our connection grew stronger as we shared stories, laughter, and dreams. Each moment became precious, filled with love and support. I found comfort in knowing that my mom's ex was by my side, facing whatever came our way together. One day, while cleaning the attic, we found some old family photos. Each image was a testament to our shared history, a reminder of where we came from and how far we had come. As we reminisced, my heart swelled with gratitude. We had transformed from a family in pain to one that embraced love and acceptance. With the holiday season approaching, the atmosphere around us buzzed with excitement. My mom's ex and I decided to throw a big Christmas party to celebrate our family and friends. The house was filled with decorations, laughter, and the smell of freshly baked cookies. Everyone was excited, and I could feel the joy radiating through the air. As the party commenced, I looked around at the faces of our family and friends, each filled with smiles and warmth. There was a sense of belonging that wrapped around us like a warm blanket. I saw my mom's ex across the room, chatting and laughing with our relatives, and my heart swelled with pride. We had come so far, and I was grateful to have him by my side. As the evening progressed, the atmosphere shifted from festive cheer to heartfelt conversations. My mom's ex took a moment to thank everyone for their support, emphasizing how much it meant to us to have them in our lives. His words resonated with everyone, and I could see tears of joy in some eyes. The party continued with laughter, dancing, and shared memories. I felt a sense of freedom to be myself, to love openly without fear. The room was filled with warmth, acceptance, and love. I realized that we had not only built a bridge between ourselves, but also fostered understanding among those around us. Later that night, as the party began to wind down, my mom's ex and I found a quiet moment together. We stepped outside onto the porch, and the cool winter air wrapped around us. "I couldn't have asked for a better night," he said, looking up at the stars. "I'm so proud of us." "I am too," I replied, feeling a wave of gratitude wash over me. "Thank you for always being there." He smiled warmly, and in that moment, I felt an unbreakable bond solidify between us. As the new year approached, we started to talk about our plans for the future. Our bond had grown deeper, and we began to envision what life would look like moving forward. There was an excitement in the air, and the possibilities seemed endless. We discussed traveling, pursuing our dreams, and building a life together filled with love and adventure. One afternoon, as we sat in the living room, my mom's ex suggested we take a trip to a place we both loved. "Let's go hiking in the mountains," he proposed. The thought filled me with joy. I could already envision the beauty of the trails and the connection we would strengthen while exploring nature together. As we planned the trip, I felt a surge of energy. This journey would not only be a chance for adventure, but also an opportunity to continue building our relationship in new ways. Each detail we discussed brought us closer, and I couldn't wait for the memories we would create together. When the day of the trip finally arrived, I was filled with excitement. We packed our gear, ready for the adventure ahead. The mountains called to us, promising breathtaking views and the thrill of exploration. The drive was filled with laughter and music, each mile bringing us closer to our destination. Once we arrived, the beauty of the landscape took my breath away. Towering peaks surrounded us, and the air was fresh and invigorating. We set off on the trail, each step bringing us closer not only to the summit but to one another. The world felt wide open, and I was ready to embrace whatever came our way. As we hiked, we shared stories and dreams. Our connection deepened with every laugh, every shared glance. The mountains were a backdrop to our unfolding love story, a testament to the journey we had taken together. We were two souls exploring the world hand in hand. The day in the mountains passed in a blur of joy and laughter. We reached the summit just as the sun began to set, painting the sky in shades of pink and orange. The view was breathtaking, and in that moment, I realized how far we had come. We stood together, side by side, embracing the beauty of the world around us. As the sun dipped below the horizon, my mom's ex turned to me, his eyes reflecting the colors of the sunset. "This moment is everything," he said softly. "I'm so grateful to share it with you." His words touched my heart. and I felt an overwhelming surge of love. In that moment, everything felt right. The challenges we had faced, the fear of the unknown, all faded away as we stood together, united in our love. I reached for his hand, and he squeezed it tightly, a silent promise that we would always be there for each other. After taking in the view, we started our descent, the path illuminated by the glow of the moon. As we hiked back down, I knew that this trip had brought us even closer together. We had conquered not only the mountains, but also the barriers that had once held us back. The rest of the weekend was filled with exploration, laughter, and deeper conversations. We found hidden trails, shared meals under the stars, and cherished every moment spent together. Each experience reinforced the bond we had built, reminding us that love knows no boundaries. As we returned home, I felt a sense of peace settle over me. We had embraced our truth and discovered the beauty of living authentically. The love we shared was a gift, one that we would cherish forever. I knew that together we could face anything life threw our way. With the dawn of a new year came new hopes and promises. Life continued to flow, and with each passing day, my mom's ex and I grew closer. We learned to support one another, and our conversations became more open and honest. There was joy in the little things, a happiness in knowing that we were free to love openly. As the new year unfolded, we decided to celebrate our relationship in a more public way. We began to attend gatherings, proudly showcasing our bond. It felt liberating to be able to express our love without fear, surrounded by those who accepted us. One evening, we hosted a dinner party to celebrate our friends and family. The house was filled with laughter, love, and warmth. As I looked around at the people I cared about, I felt immense gratitude for the support we had received. My mom's ex and I exchanged knowing smiles, recognizing the beauty of the moment. As the night progressed, I felt the weight of our journey lift. I had come to realize that love is not just about what exists between two people. It is also about the connections we create with those around us. The acceptance from our family and friends had solidified our strength. In the days that followed, my mom's ex and I continued to nurture our relationship. We faced challenges, but we faced them together, hand in hand. Our bond became a source of comfort and strength, reminding us that love conquers all. As I looked to the future, I felt a sense of hope and excitement. The journey we had embarked on was just beginning, and I was ready to embrace whatever came our way. Together, we would create a life filled with love, joy, and acceptance, a life that honored our connection and the courage to be ourselves.